Oh, right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Because that's it's really important to determine as an arranger, what you're going to arrange. And it does make a difference if you're arranging for competition. So let's put the arrangement up and do some analysis. Oh, I see you've added a tag. It looks a little insulting. Do you think Wilbur or Murgatroyd might be offended?
I don't think so. It's a birthday song, and everybody's happy at a birthday party. So,
right. And the worst she can do is throw a birthday cake at you.
Right. I'll throw the cake back at them.
So, looking at the chords throughout the song, I see a bunch of B-flat chords, and of course, you've arranged it in B-flat. I guess you would expect that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, in a B-flat, the key of B-flat, the complementary other chord is an F7th. And
right,
we're not going to get any more technical in this, though, I think.
Yeah, I know that we don't want to get too technical, but...
Would you play a B-flat and an F7th for us?
Yeah, so here's a B-flat chord.
And play an F7th.
And that's it, and F7 is here.
See, that goes with it.
Right.
So you'll hear those two chords in this song, which is a simple song. You'll hear that more often than any other in the song.
Very good, makes sense. And that B-flat chord is often what one might use as a tune-up chord, right? Like
yes.
If we're in the key of B-flat, somebody's going to blow a pitch pipe with that note on it, and then lead, bass, baritone, tenor. Right. So that's your tune-up chord, and that's your basic chord, the key that the song is played in. Okay.
B-flat is do in the key of B-flat. That's do.
Right. So that's do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay. And the F7 is often thought of these are all F7 chords, all of these, even though they're specifically marked. And you can hear that. I'm going to play it. Oh, so it starts with the F7, doesn't it? It's hard on this keyboard.
No.
No. Okay, sorry. Whoa.
That's it.
Oh. Okay, so there are a lot of F7s there. Now, what's interesting to me, Dork, excuse me. So that, we could talk about circle of fifths, and can you explain the circle of fifths?
No.
Anyway.
I'll tell you what, I don't even think about the circle of fifths, but for just
that's interesting
explanation for the purposes of this class, it's a way to determine what chords will go with what other chords in a given key.
Okay, great.
Let's let it go with that.
I think that's the best explanation I've ever heard. Basically, lots of chords lead to other chords, and the whole concept of circle of fifths can help you find the next chord.
That's correct. But beyond that, I don't think we ought to burden it.
Okay. But it's interesting that the first notes of Happy Birthday are, right?
Yep.
So it's Happy Birthday, and then to you, and then Happy Birthday to you.
Yep.
So the pattern of Happy Birthday repeats itself.
Yes, it does.
But then the next two notes are different. So in your arrangement, we've got this those are the chords, but in the second set where the lead repeats itself, you changed the chording. In the
Yeah.
first case, it's and in the second case, it's so you have the same lead, the same melody for that, the same pattern, I should say, and different chords.
Yeah. Well, that's what the composer's choice was, Marvin.
Ah, okay. How do you determine that? How would you know that?
Well, if it's a piece of music that I'm not familiar with, if you look at printed sheet music, you'll see written above the chord in a given piece of music, chord identification, C, B flat, G7 through 7. Okay, if you look above, it shows you a guitar fret, and then above that, it will have the note, identify the chord.
Right. Okay, so you tend to use that where you can.
Sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, when we talked about the circle of fifths. Is that something that occurs to you while you're arranging, or how do you determine what chords to use?
Well, it's the composer's choice of the piano arrangement that I might have in front of me. I know if it says C, I know exactly what chords are and what notes are in the chord of C. It would be the root would be the bass and the lead, which would be a C, and
Right.
then you have a G for the baritone and an E for the tenor. Now, I know that's just called a C triad.
Right. Okay. So that's what you would tend to use. You don't. You're not necessarily thinking about the circle of fifths as
Not
you.
at all. Don't even consider it.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you while you're arranging, do you plunk it out on a keyboard or a piano, or do you hear it first? How do you
Well,
do that?
if it's a popular song, I will go to whatever the most popular rendition of it, in other words, it's been recorded, and I'll listen to that to kind of get a flavor of the song and what the composer intended. And then I adapt what I do to that piano score or to the best rendition I heard of it.
So there are a lot of dimensions to arranging. It seems there's the lead, there's the key signature determined in your case by the lead and the range that's required, and
Right.
the composer's intention. There's what else did you say? The feel for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Something we amateurs don't often think about.
Well,
Yeah, it truly. Hey, what age did you start arranging, Dork?
well, I sang in a quartet in high school, and
Wow.
yeah, and then after that, when I joined the society in the middle '50s, that's a long time ago. The quartet I sang with was the Main Street Four. We started out with that. First, it was a quartet that nobody ever heard of called the C Notes, and then I joined the Main Street Four. And I would, after a while, it was so interesting that I would try to take a given song and do my own arrangement of it. And that didn't always have favorable results. But they would say, no.
Especially at first, I bet.
Right. So they were so bad that they back to the drawing board. Don't do it again. Unless you have something good, don't give it to us. So
Very encouraging.
yeah, oh yeah.
I had a question.
What?
Yeah.
Richard, how do you determine when you're doing an arrangement when the lead should have the lead in or the bass should have the lead in? Which voice would have the lead in to begin a particular song?
I try to do the lead part. Yes, it's a good question. I try to do the lead part as close. I don't like to corrupt the lead line at all. I try to keep the melody in the lead part where it belongs.
Uh-huh.
If there's any adjustment that has to be done, I will do that with the chords that surround that. And I happen to know what a given chord represents. So I will either invert the chord, which means that you change the positions of the notes. Same chord, but you might give it to a different part.
it's interesting because the reason I say that, I look at Kokomo, and you arranged that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't arrange that.
No.
Yeah, that was Don Reckenbill.
Right.
Yeah. Now, in that particular case, he used the bass
Oh, yeah.
to start off, and we don't come in until well after several measures into the song.
That's right. Well, that's what normally goes for orchestration in a song. In other words, you'll hear instruments playing that, see, so that you have to he just simply added words and notes to that thing, and then finally the lead comes in. But I think it's maybe 5-6 measures into the song that the lead part, yeah. And that's often you have to do that.
Yeah, that's an example of considering the style and the feeling for the song.
Yeah, could I follow up Herb's question, Marv, if you don't mind? One thing I would ask is, Dick, you said you try not to corrupt the melody. Are there ever times where you have to change the melody a little just because of the chording and the voicing?
Well, do you remember a song that I did for Steve Delahanty and I did? I can't remember the name of the song, but it was from Chicago, I think.
All I Care About Is Love.
All I Care About Is Love. If you remember, the first 2 measures of that were the basses. It went so, the melody line went so low that it was below the lead range. And I had to make it identifiable, so I put the first 5 or 6 notes in the bass part. And then it surrendered to the lead, I guess about 4 bars in. But you have to do that once in a while. If it's below the lead range and that's what the composer intended, you got to put it someplace. So that's what I did.
So that's for passing. I'm wondering, are there ever times where a melody actually doesn't fit into the chord? You know, are there ever times where the melodist didn't write a melody that fits into the chord, and because we're singing barbershop and we're just a cappella, you actually have to change the melody a little just so it fits in the chord? Do you ever have to do that? Sometimes
you have to contrive chords. And, you know, when the original just simply has orchestration in it, where it's an accompanying part, you have to put the melody, you may have to corrupt the melody a little bit, but I don't like to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Basically, the audience should be familiar with the song.
Yep.
And with the melody. So I imagine that would be a good reason not to corrupt the melody.
Yes. And also, leads are stupid.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I resemble that remark.
No, I'm only kidding. But
no problem.
But I try not to change because it's startling sometimes when you have to take the lead, the notes that the lead sing and put it in another part.
What type of vocal groups do you arrange for, aside from male quartets and the Mars Music Men?
Well, I've done some church choir work, but that's pretty rare.
Wow.
I arranged for girls. I directed Hickory Tree for 8 years, and I did almost all of their arrangements. Quartets, modern quartets. So that's entirely different. That you have 5 or 6 parts in that. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Dick, were you arranging for the Hickory Tree chorus when Jeannie was a Hickory Tree?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
They were a fantastic chorus. Yeah, they were.
They're better now than they were when I was
directing them. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
Is your arrangement style influenced by anything external to barbershop? You know, generally, what types of things influence your arranging aside from, great barbershop?
Well, the barbershop style is the easiest. It's 4-part, and you don't have to do a lot of straining to make the harmony work. Sometimes